But while you still have 2D people and switching over from DS to 3DS, because quite frankly, it's still there's still a big shift. I mean, people just don't have the money for a 3DS right now, and with not so many games, you know, some crappy launch titles that are good if you have the system and you want to test the hardware out, and you're too eager to wait for something good, and an N64 title that, yeah, it's one of the best games of all time, but let's be honest, it's still an N64 title. It's not a completely original 3DS idea. So for those people who haven't went out and become early adopters like I have of 3DS, you know, they're still on their DS and it's still valid to them, and they still want to see games being produced for it. And it seems like Nintendo is making a smooth transition so far. You know, I've seen that they're making another Kirby game on the DS. Not even the 3DS, but just the DS. It's Kirby Mass Attack, I believe is the name, which is great because it's not only Kirby on DS, but there's going to be a new separate Kirby Wii game. I'm surprised they didn't say more about it at E3. It was kind of hush-hush, but that was big news to me, and one of the best news I got. So with Pokemon, they could still do that transition of the DS market over to the 3DS. Meanwhile, people who have the 3DS aren't really losing anything. They're just gaining a different set of controls. Maybe for the 3DS, you could, you know, since it's out now, and developers know that, hey, my game is going to be controlled now with a possible circle pad. Maybe I'll program something in mind for the 3DS gamer, you know, that will specifically take advantage of the circle pad. For example, Metroid Prime Hunters. If you control Samus with the circle pad and the stylus, you know, moving her head around, no flinch, no flinch, she actually runs through the level instead of just calmly or regularly walking through, which is a big advantage in Metroid Prime Hunters because it's about speed and having the one-up on your opponent and being able to be the better shot. So that's a big advantage on the 3DS, and if more developers program for that, in fear that 3DS gamers would be ticked off that they didn't port to their system, you know, I don't see what the rage would be for, because you could still play it, except it's just going to be on an expanded screen, you're going to see it larger, and you have the circle pad as an option of play, which, in my opinion, is one of the most comfiest ways to control some of my old DS games that I found rather uncomfortable at first, like Mario 64. That on the D-pad wasn't as smooth as I remember it while playing on something that it was intended for, like the Nintendo 64, where you actually had a stick. So the circle pad is a good medium, you know, it's not a full stick, it's not a full toggle stick. It's another thing, thinking of sticks and specs of systems that are portable. The PlayStation Vita has a full, I believe, a full dual analog shock stick, or... Oh no, we missed our chance. Damn it, I was so close to getting a Glameow statue trophy. Well, that's alright. Got the Perugly. Too bad it can't evolve. So, I don't know. You guys comment below. That was an incredibly long, if you can keep up with that, and it all keeps up in one video. That's something I worry about with live commentary, is I'm not keeping track of any sort of time. I'm not looking at the clock saying, alright, that was 15 minutes, time to wrap up this episode. That's why in the past episodes of Rumble you could hear, I would clearly say, welcome to this episode, goodbye. Welcome to this episode, goodbye. Because I actually had it cut out post-production as to how long that one particular episode's going to be. So I could span out what I'm going to say, and I don't write a script for any of these things, I just go improv everything. But it gives me an idea of how much time I have to talk about things. Where here, it's just a completely open chat window of me and my face talking at my screen. So it's pretty interesting because I love doing mass recording, and this is going to be a way to do mass recording that actually gets it done in one session. Usually it has to be 2 mass recordings. It has to be one to capture gameplay, and then one to do the voice recording. But for certain LPs, A, it's necessary, and B, I like the quality of it better. That has to happen for my DS LPs, because with that, playing on the emulator with my legal ripped ROMs, And if you want proof of that, I've actually made a tutorial video on how to do it yourself. So if you want to do LPs similar to me... Oh, phew. That wasn't our last. I thought that was... Alright, let's see. You don't want to mess this up. Wing attack sounds good. It sounds spammy. Oh, great. Yeah! Well, get out of the way. Super feather attack. There we go. That's the ultimate spam we're needing. But when I play on the emulator, you can just look up how to capture DS or DS capture on my uploads, and it should pop up as one of the videos in the first section. That'll teach you how to do it. But anyway, when I'm playing on that, when I'm recording, it runs at 80% speed. So if I was to record audio during that, I would be slow, and it wouldn't make sense because the video captured, when you go back to watch the footage, it's fully rendered. Like, all the frames are there. It's just capturing it and playing it at the same time. Let's see. I guess we'll go with Drapion still. He's pretty powerful. Just capturing and playing at the same time yields for slower gameplay, but the capture itself is perfectly fine, so it wouldn't make any sense. I'd be saying that this battle is taking forever. Tackle would be taking 5 seconds, when in reality it only takes 1. Oh my goodness, how long is this tackle? You know, it'd be ridiculous, and the commentary wouldn't make sense, and it just wouldn't work. So that's why all the DS footage that I capture has to be done post, as far as commentary goes, because if I want that quality, I gotta not do the live stuff, which unfortunately makes producing the videos slower, but it does produce better videos. So I'd rather have that. I don't know about you guys. I think with all the content on the channel, if it's not a Pokemon Black walkthrough, it's a Minecraft video. If it's not that, it's Rumble. If it's not that, it's some other thing. So that's the cool thing about what this channel is evolving into. I try to keep the LPs going, so you have multiple things to watch a day. And one of the big things why I wanted to test out how well this live recording of Pokemon Rumble's going is because if this works out really well, this is going to make a lot more LPs appear on the channel so much quicker. I mean, I'm probably, knowing myself, I'm going to upload this in mass to the tubes of you, just because it's a game that should have been finished last year, in my opinion. It really is not a hard game, it's just a game that I've been putting off because it's not my favorite. And I more or less made this out of just testing my hoppage, because at the time I got it, I was so excited after years and years of aspiring to capture gameplay just for myself. You know, that's funny. I got into LPs, but originally I wanted to capture games for myself because I would go on YouTube and just watch an hour run. I don't know how people would get through without being partners, but it's sort of like Matt's channel, how it's glitched. He's not a partner, but he has unlimited time. And I would watch 1 hour long shoots of just gameplay videos, like Metroid Prime. Somebody did it in an hour or something like that, some crazy. And I would watch the video over and over, and anytime I wanted to just go to that world, you know, not necessarily play, but I wanted to see one part, like the battle with Thardas. You know, I definitely am past that in my main game because I beat those so long ago. And I don't necessarily feel like restarting a file just to see one boss. Let's try Snowbird. Oh wow, that's pretty effective. Crazy Razor Leaf. What are you doing? Oh, enough of your ingrain. When do you stop ingraining? Wow, you don't stop until you attack? That's stupid. Or probably until your HP is filled. One or the other. Either way, I don't like that move. I'm not going to be using it much. But I wanted to eventually capture gameplay for myself, just so I could watch it over and over again. That's one of the biggest things I actually do with my hoppage. It's multi-purposed in my world. It's not just for recording gameplay. I mean, it is, but it isn't. Because I also record gameplay for myself, and then just splice it together with music, or just watch it over and over again, like lilt line footage. Just because I don't want to play the game necessarily, but I want to be transported to that world. I'm sure you all understand that perfectly, because otherwise you wouldn't be watching these LPs. The fun thing about watching LPs, though, especially, is that not only are you transported to the world of the game that you wanted to be watching and being immersed in, but you're also brought into someone else's perspective via the host. That was something, I guess, 2 years ago, or 3 years ago, about that I learned just being around YouTube and doing Nintendo Radio as a podcast, was that, you know, it's a lot to do as far as uploading gameplay videos with the host. You know, for example, Chugga Conroy, I won't watch his LP until it's fully completed, because I want to check the playlist. I don't want to have to wait 2 days or 3 days if he takes a break, and I apologize to you guys because I know how my video rate upload times have been, and that's why I definitely want to try this, and hopefully this works out well. Ah, we're getting our ass kicked. No, we lost. Terrible victory. But we've got new Poké Pals. Wow. We failed, but we are able to go on to Battle Royale. What do you say, guys? Should we just go on ahead? It's a risk. It's a move that I won't do, because I want to actually show off the game. But a lot of showing off the game is with who is showing it off. It's a lot to do with personality.